What if I told you that for less than the price of a new iPhone, you could actually own a piece of classic American iron? Today, I've tracked down 10 real project cars under 1500 bucks. Some are rough, some are quirky, but all of them could be your ticket into the classic car world. Let's check them out. 1953 Jeep M38A1. Starting us off is a rugged piece of military history, a 1953 Jeep M38A1. These Jeeps were built tough, and this one still has its original manual gearbox. The engine isn't locked up, which is already a big win, though it hasn't run in years. Transmission still shifts through all gears, but it does need a rear tire before it can roll again. For 1500 bucks, this Jeep is less about comfort and more about heritage. Imagine this one crawling over trails again, olive drab paint back on the body, serving as a living tribute to the Korean War era. '71 Ford F-150 FX2 pickup. Next up is a 1971 Ford F-150, part of the iconic bump side era. This truck doesn't have a title, but what it does have is solid potential. The seller mentions a 390 crank and C6 transmission, though there's a no spark issue keeping it from firing up. It's a rough starting point, but these bump side Fords are climbing in popularity, especially among builders who love swapping in modern powertrains. For someone with a trailer and some mechanical know-how, this could be the start of a very cool old-school hauler. '74 Chevrolet 1500 long bed. At number 3, we've got a Chevy K10 with full-time four-wheel drive. The body? Junk. The transmission works in drive but not in reverse. But here's the kicker. Under the hood sits a great running 350 with headers and a small cam paired with a solid four-wheel drive frame. The seller won't part it out, so you got to take the whole package, but for 1500 bucks, the motor and frame alone could be worth the deal. This one's not a turnkey driver, but it's got the bones of a serious off-road build. '60 Pontiac Star Chief. Sliding into the 4th spot is a 1960 Pontiac Star Chief, a big, bold four-door cruiser from the glory days of chrome. This one's been sitting for decades, and it's definitely not for the faint of heart. But everything's there, a 389 V8, automatic transmission, and all that classic Pontiac style. It's going to need a rollback or a strong trailer just to get it home. But restorers know that full-size Pontiacs have a presence on the road that modern cars just can't match. Here's a massive land yacht, the 1979 Lincoln Continental. Under the hood is a 400 cubic inch V8 paired with a C6 transmission, both in running condition. The seller got it running after years of sitting, and while the interior is rough, the drivetrain sounds solid. With no title, it's being sold mainly as a parts car, but honestly, it's hard not to picture this black Continental gliding down the highway again. At 1200 bucks, it's a lot of car for not much money.
'6. 1976 Dodge Aspen Custom. At number 6, we've got a 1976 Dodge Aspen Custom. These cars don't get the same love as Chargers or Challengers, but they're part of Dodge's history. This one actually runs and drives, though the seller warns you probably won't be driving it home just yet. It needs front suspension work and maybe a fuel system refresh. The interior is rough, but at $1,500, it's an affordable entry into Mopar ownership. Imagine it with a little stance, some wheels, and a fresh exhaust growl. 7. 1974 Ford Gran Torino. And here's where things get fun. It runs, it drives, but it doesn't stop. The brakes need attention. The seller says it's mostly surface rust, has a brand new gas tank, and even throws in a new fuel pump. Interior's pretty tired. But hey, it starts right up. For fans of Starsky and Hutch, the Torino was always a head-turner, and this one could be a budget-friendly way to get behind the wheel of a true 70s icon. Number 8 takes us to a 1969 Ford F-150 long bed. This one's a classic workhorse. Long bed, manual transmission, and a 360 V8 under the hood. The seller says it'll run with a hot battery and fuel straight into the carb, but the tank and lines need to be cleaned or replaced. Rust in the usual spots, floors, bed, and hood, but overall the bones are there. Trucks from this era are only going up in value, and at $1,500, this is a very approachable starting point. At number 9, we swing back into luxury with a 1977 Lincoln Continental Black Label Edition. With only 2 owners and a clean title, it's rare to see one offered this cheap. The seller says it has a new battery and runs, with 80,000 miles showing. Black exterior, gold interior. This was top of the line back in '77. For $1,300, it's a lot of metal and prestige for very little money, though you'll probably be investing plenty to bring it back to full glory. Closing out today's list is a 1975 Oldsmobile Cutlass Supreme S Coupe. Complete car, though it's missing a title. Motor and transmission are still with it, but the condition's unknown. It will need a trailer, no question. But the Cutlass Supreme was one of the best-selling cars of the '70s, and seeing one offered for just $1,000 makes it tempting. Whether you bring it back to life or turn it into a cool street machine, the potential is there. And there you have it, 10 affordable classics under $1,500. From rugged Jeeps and vintage pickups to big-body Lincolns and old-school muscle. Which one of these would you rescue first? Drop your pick in the comments, and don't forget to hit that like button if you enjoyed the hunt. Until next time, keep those classic dreams alive.